Okay, in order to move on to our next topic, we really have to focus on a skill called counting atoms, just being able to count atoms in a compound. Now, each compound has subscripts, okay? And the subscripts tell you how many atoms we have of the element that's represented by the symbol in front of it. So for example, the 2 tells me that I have 2 phosphorus atoms in this compound. Wrote that terribly. Okay. We have 2 phosphorus atoms, and the 3 tells me that I have 3 oxygen atoms. I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty simple. But when we look at our next example, zinc here only has um, no subscript, which means it has 1, okay? If it had 0, we just wouldn't write the symbol for it. But we've written the symbol, so I have to have at least 1. And chemists are lazy, so it's not written there, but it is certainly implied that that 1 zinc atom is there. Now, we see these parentheses, okay? Now, this 2 tells me that I have 2 of everything inside there. And so that means 2 times my 1 nitrogen will give me 2, and 2 times my 3 oxygens is 6. Now, if you need to see this in kind of a visual representation, we have zinc there, which has a +2 charge, and we have nitrate, which has a -1 charge. Okay, so we have 2 of all of these. So if you kind of break it down this way, you can count the 1 zinc, the 2 nitrogens, and the 6 oxygens kind of individually that way. Okay, so if we do a few more examples, okay, for example, number 4. Number 4 here is a little trickier than the last one. Okay, we have nitrogen in 2 places. So we have to remember to add them together. So 3 times 1 will give me 3 nitrogens here. And then I also have this 1 nitrogen, so that's actually a total of 4 nitrogens. And then 3 times 4 is going to give me 12 hydrogens, okay? Um, Now, I would continue to practice these on your own, but we can see here that I'll have 2 irons and 3 oxygens, okay? But it does get trickier, okay? If we look at some of these um, down below, okay, we'll begin to notice a number at the front of our compounds. Now, these numbers are called coefficients, okay? And what that means is instead of telling you how many atoms you have, it's telling you how many molecules or formula units you have. So instead of just having one, if we're looking at number 14, for example, instead of having one KrCl6, okay, that 3 tells me that I have 3 of them. And so now I have 3 of everything that was listed. So if I write how many I had initially, I had 1 chromium and 6 chlorines, or excuse me, 1 krypton and 6 chlorines. But with that 3 there, 3 times 1 is going to give me a final number of 3, and 3 times 6 is going to give me a final answer of 18. And so it really tells me that I have 3 of those molecules. And if we were to do number 15, which is also tricky, the way I do it is I listed out how many do I have originally, kind of ignore the coefficient. And I have 1 aluminum, this 2 gets multiplied by everything, okay? And 2 times 2 is going to give me 4 carbons and 6 hydrogens and 4 oxygens. But what I can do is now I can take my coefficient and multiply it by everything I had. So 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 6 is going to give me 30, and 5 times 4 again is 20. And so now I have my final answer. And in order to succeed in the rest of the unit and also just in the rest of the semester, you will need to be able to master this skill of counting atoms.